Many people believe that staying silent when hurt is a sign of maturity, but scientific evidence proves it is actually a biological self-defense reflex born of helplessness. It is the silent scream of a nervous system completely exhausted by emotional flooding. Together, we will unpack the ruthless survival mechanism that currently keeps you captive. Picture yourself standing in a kitchen, bathed in the warm glow of golden light. A sharp, careless remark from your partner has just cut through the air. Your chest immediately tightens as if a massive stone has been placed upon it. Your heart rate spikes instantly, its heavy thumping echoing loudly in your ears. Cold sweat begins to pool in the palms of your trembling hands. You gently set your glass down on the table, making no sound at all. You turn and walk quickly toward your bedroom, softly locking the door behind you. You do not argue or scream. You only swallow the bitterness deep inside. You sit with your knees pulled close in the dark corner, sinking into lifeless silence. Their anger still hangs in the air like a heavy, dark gray cloud. You feel every single muscle in your shoulders tensing up under the stress. This terrifying silence acts as an invisible wall separating you from the entire world. You truly believe that staying silent will protect you from deeper, future pain. But biological reality proves you are locking your own mind inside a dark dungeon. This response actually traces back to your old house when you were just 6. It was a gloomy evening, and the atmosphere in the home was incredibly suffocating. You stood pressed behind an old wooden door with peeling green paint. You listened to your mother's heavy, helpless sigh after a long, exhausting day. You heard the loud slam of a door, followed by your father's angry footsteps. The 6-year-old child back then learned to tiptoe as quietly as possible. You tried to shrink your physical presence so you would not bother anyone. You promised to be good and never ask for anything for yourself again. This is not a safe place to bring your pain. That ruthless, unconscious lesson became deeply engraved into every cell of your body. This defense mechanism is controlled directly by the amygdala inside your brain. When detecting a threat of hurt, the brain instantly triggers a biological freeze response. Your physical defense system is quietly putting your entire body into lockdown mode. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system to temporarily shut down all communication channels. It blocks your language centers, leaving you completely unable to speak up for yourself. The amygdala constantly sends urgent danger signals straight to your higher brain. You cannot think clearly when your blood rushes to vital organs for survival. The brain prioritizes keeping you alive over finding the right words to argue. This does not happen because you did anything wrong in this situation. Rather, it is because your nervous system learned this survival rule very early. And it has never received the memo that your surroundings have actually changed. The outside world always sees you as an incredibly calm and polite person. You excel at your job and remain perfectly pleasant with all your colleagues. You never show anger, never argue, and always smile while accepting every request. Your silence is praised by everyone as a sign of true emotional maturity. They believe you possess a rock-solid mind and master your emotions beautifully. People compliment your self-control, admiring how you never let feelings dictate actions. They love working with you because of the constant stability and ease you provide. Yet they do not know this protective shield was built upon bleeding wounds. Long-term emotional suppression turns into a landmine waiting to explode in your heart. You are exhausted from playing the perfect person who never gets upset with anyone. Behind that flawless exterior lies a deeply painful and heavy emotional suppression. You are carrying the peace of others at the cost of your own bleeding heart. You choose silence to prevent any conflicts or unwanted cracks from forming. But this prolonged silence is quietly destroying your inner world from within. This is not because you are truly strong and immune to harsh words. Rather, emotional suppression is the only way you know to maintain artificial safety. But when late night falls, that calm mask completely shatters into pieces. The real battle only truly begins inside your deep inner world. Racing thoughts at 2 in the morning, drag you into cognitive exhaustion. You constantly replay hurtful conversations through a lens of brutal self-judgment. You blame your own helplessness for not having the courage to speak up. In the deep night, unanswered questions spin endlessly inside your mind. You wonder why you are so weak that you cannot utter a single word. Cognitive exhaustion building up day after day leaves you with zero energy. You stare at the ceiling and feel like a complete stranger in your room. Your mirror neurons continuously reactivate those old, familiar, painful emotions. Your nervous system remains locked in a state of hypervigilance toward every change. You fear that a single tiny action could shatter this fragile peace. Chronic nervous tension keeps your physical body in a state of constant exhaustion. This is not because you are weak or overly sensitive to the environment. Rather, hypervigilance is the only way you can anticipate the next blow. And I truly want to stop here for just a brief moment, because there is a specific kind of loneliness here that almost no one names. It is the feeling of standing in a bustling crowd, yet feeling completely invisible. You silently carry every internal fracture without ever being able to share them. People see you functioning well and assume you are not struggling at all. No one hears the desperate cry for help hidden behind your forced smile. This silent pain eats away at your soul daily without making a sound. It is like a silent flood sweeping away all the life left inside you. You want to reach out, but your tight throat refuses to let words escape. You feel entirely abandoned in a world that claims to be so connected. This is not because you want to isolate yourself or avoid the world. Rather, emotional flooding has completely stripped away your ability to connect with others. The saddest part is when you step in to soothe the very person who hurt you. You take all the blame, smiling and talking to ease the heavy tension. You excuse their bad behavior with a forced and artificial sense of understanding. You convince yourself they did not mean it and have their own struggles. You willingly betray your own true feelings just to keep a relationship alive. You extinguish your own righteous anger to accommodate someone else's selfish needs. You rush to text them, asking if they have finally calmed down. You clean up the mess, trying to fix a mistake that was never yours. You realize you are acting as the mediator for your own silent pain. This fawn response has robbed you of your natural right to feel angry. Psychology calls this painful defense mechanism an unconscious fawn response. It turns you into someone who pleases others at the expense of yourself. You carve away your own edges to fit into the molds of others. This is not because you are cowardly or cannot distinguish right from wrong. Rather, the fawn response protects you from the terrifying threat of abandonment. Remember that this defense mechanism was once an incredibly brilliant tool for you. It protected the 6-year-old child in that unstable room long ago. Through that resilient silence, you survived and grew into who you are today. Offer your sincere gratitude to the shield that has protected you for so long. But you are grown now, and your world has changed quite a bit. You are no longer the vulnerable child hiding behind that wooden door. You are using an outdated survival guide for an entirely new reality. It is like wearing a thick winter coat in the middle of summer. It is time to update that old survival manual from your past. Your present world no longer contains the same threats you faced back then. You have every right to feel angry, hurt, and to speak up. Allow your parasympathetic nervous system to finally rest after years of tensing up. Your nervous system will learn to trust a new, safe reality. Our nervous systems are only truly updated through real-life, lived experiences. It cannot be changed by hollow, toxic positivity quotes floating around online. It changes when you dare to experience a different ending in true safety. The goal is not to stop being silent, but to choose when to speak. The goal is not to force strength, but to make your nervous system feel safe. Tonight, when you go home, try letting yourself take one tiny action. Instead of explaining yourself to please someone else, pause for a single second. Try saying a simple, short phrase like, "I cannot do that right now," or simply catch your apology right before it slips past your lips. Hold the 6-year-old child inside you and whisper that things are safe now. You are not too complex as a human being. You are only in a room too small to hold your complexity. And those two things are completely and totally different. Which part of this video felt most like your own story? Leave a comment below. Just a single sentence is enough. And if you know someone quietly suffering through this, send it to them. Sometimes, sharing in silence is the loudest message of all.